Hello everyone, this is Chase Pounds. I know I'm kind of late in my discussions for Black History Month, but I gotta try the best thing I make to make do with the few days I have left in discussing certain topics I plan to discuss about. In this video today, I'm going to be discussing about blacks. At one point used to vote Republican. Now, some of you may know this and some may not, but this was kind of something I knew about recently. I may have been taught it in school, but not really thought much about it and what it meant. But I have it was after watching a documentary in 2020 called Uncle Tom that discussed about the conservative blacks, mostly blacks that identify with the Republican Party, and their views on certain issues regarding racism, and what their opposing view on the Democratic Party is, and discussing like different black intellectualness and I guess assumptions and stereotypes associated with being Republican. Interesting enough, with the documentary being called Uncle Tom, it doesn't really talk about the origins of the stereotype of Uncle Tom, which I have mentioned before. The origins of in the earlier videos that Uncle Tom actually has his roots going back to back with a true story of a slave named Josiah Henson, who was known for helping free and escape slave, helping slaves escape out of freedom, which is kind of similar to what Harriet Tubman did, the free slave, who successfully freed slaves, and that's what Josiah Henson was known for, was helping escaping slaves out of slavery, and this somehow became the inspiration for Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin, which was loosely based off the story of Josiah Henson, and over the years, the story was altered and was made into it had elements of blackface, minstrelsy, blackface, in the post-Civil War years, Reconstruction. But and that became the negative association with Uncle Tom, was the blackface coon stereotypes. But really, it has no true association with the real story of what Uncle Tom was based on. And from that point on, Uncle Tom has always been associated with being a sellout to another person's race, and being, I guess, kind of considered like maybe like a like being uppity, kind of pleasing the white man, and not thinking about or helping his own race, but trying to better himself by his own bootstraps, and trying to kind of disregarding I should say that kind of a holding black progress, or black progress in development and achievement, I guess, in some cases, kind of a a sense, and oftentimes usually people blacks are often thought as being conservative, often in a negative sense, or have been associated with is a sellout and not sellout in some cases. But the origin of Uncle Tom, Tom is not the it's not the myth that's always been considered. But going back to what I was saying earlier about blacks voting Republican, that has its roots actually goes back since the days of slavery, as at the time the few opportunities that free blacks, certain blacks, there were free blacks who were able to take part in voting, or were part of the liberal Republican Party at the time, which were known as the Radical Republicans, and many of them who were anti-slavery, who were part of the abolition movement during that period, and continued to the end of the Civil War. Right when slavery ended, had ended, newly free slaves more than likely would identify as Republican, along with the which was also considered the party of Lincoln, being the person that the president under his administration to abolish slavery. So it would be natural that blacks would gravitate to the party of the administration that they had they had freedom in the first place. So really, we think of today that the Republican Party is being very conservative, very very conservative, more about people's own well-being and trying to, I guess, put them up, make it their way by their own bootstraps. And that wasn't really the case with the Republican Party. It was kind of the exact opposite, more liberal in hindsight. While the opposite was with the Democratic Party was the kind of the opposite, was considered the more conservative, more of the conservative. Many of the on that party were the people who were the former slave owners, people who support the Confederacy, the Confederacy, and people that were probably one thing who get opposed to anti-slavery movement, and actually, according to Uncle Tom, a lot of times these were the same party that was also who was engaging and enforcing black codes in literacy tests that denied Africans, that were disenfranchising the black Americans to vote, and in some cases they would sometimes intimidate blacks and dare them to vote Democrat for their own party instead of voting for the Liberal Party, as a form of harassment and intimidation in some cases. And that and it was this at this point, and it was this was the cycle of the party of the early political system of the two systems, and many of the Democrat parties would establish as I said, Jim Crow laws, and black Jim Crow laws following the Reconstruction, post-Reconstruction years, and they would this would continue. This would be a system that would continue for 100 years, and yet many on the Republican side, people like Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, even Du Bois were considered Republicans, and despite many of the atrocities that occurred throughout the South, and the South and the South and the South and South. They blacks still identified as Republican, remained loyal to the party of Lincoln. Remained faithful to the party of Lincoln, as again the administration that freed the slaves, and this will continue well into the up to the Roosevelt administration, which would be the turning point of precursor of the blacks starting to switch over from being Republican, and that was because it was during Roosevelt administration that he started becoming more progressive and helping black progressive in his administration. There was a series of anti-lynch bills that would went over the support of favoring many black Americans, but yet most blacks at the time still remained Republican, identified as Republican, even well into the outbreak of World War II. Even through the civil rights, even well into the civil rights era, many of your average black Americans voted Republican. Even the great civil rights activist Martin Luther King was considered Republican, identified as Republican. It wouldn't be until 1964, with the passing of the Civil Rights Bill, that you start seeing like a big switch over from blacks being identified as Republican, but then becoming Democrat, and at the same time, many of the conservative whites, Southern whites, switched over to the Republican Party, and that's how the party became the standard that it is now. That Democrat is considered more liberal, more diverse, while more associated with diversity and inclusion, while Republicans are now the conservative or core conservative people, and but yet there still are blacks that still remain Republican even to this day, and I'm not sure And a lot of times in this day and age now, a lot of times being Republican has a negative association, especially with the current administration now, being a seller to your own race and I guess pleasing and I guess again being a seller to your own race and but in some cases I kind of wonder from learning this that do some blacks still identify as Republican because of the tradition of the party of Lincoln, and that's why some blacks may be loyal to staying Republican. I don't know. Some of you may disagree, but that's kind of one of my reasons why. But it makes me wonder: can the parties ever switch again? If it was a Republican that does something for us, will blacks start switching back to Republicans, or then again a Democrat comes along and does something for Black Americans, where they then switch back over to the Democrat Party. So it's not really so much about what party we identify with, but whoever does the most for us as a race that we tend to stick with and to switch over to different parties. And I mean that'd be my take on this theory about Republicans. Again, it's something I was probably taught in school but didn't understand the political system. But again, this is something I started realizing after watching the documentary Uncle Tom about the blacks who identify Republican. But again, there's always been a negative association with blacks identifying as Republican as associated with this stereotype and trope of blacks being a sellout to their own race. And Uncle Tom was an interesting documentary. I recommend you to watch it. And that's all I got to say. Say on the subject. This is another video by Chase Pound. Stay tuned in the next video.